Two men journey to the bars and restaurants of Scandinavia to find amazing beers, always with the same question.
Hey, what's on tap?
It's time to find out.
It's my favorite episode of the year.
I thought you were going to start with ho, ho, ho.
No, it's next week, or next episode.
Come on. Isn't this the time to say ho, ho, ho?
I mean...
This is where we kick the ho, ho, ho season off.
Not going to make the mom joke I was thinking, but...
Oh.
But no, my favorite episode of the year is always the last Thursday of November. Not just because it's usually Thanksgiving, but because it's the Systembolaget Christmas Beer episode.
Exactly, Christmas.
And I
ho,
love it so
ho,
much.
ho. Hence the hoeing.
That's true. There was always a lot of hoeing going on.
Yeah.
But this year we found 5 beers, and I've started getting into kind of a way that I like to pick the beers.
Yeah.
Over the past few years, I've developed some I don't know, standards for myself of what we like to try. And this year there was something like 130 Christmas beers that were released, or something along that nature. So it's been a lot of stuff, and we've got some fun ones this year. I would say the breweries in Sweden are really stepping up their game.
I am beyond impressed with this lineup, because in past years we've had some real clunkers, some real bottom of the barrel, just because it was fun to include them, and the listeners can know that Stefan actually picked out all of these. Right,
and and so I just I went with like you kind of just have to go with what's available. So sometimes you're just kind of like. Taking a shot in the dark, and then, a lot of the, let's say, not as well-established breweries are taking the lead. But this year, there's some new stuff from some pretty well-established breweries. We have one kind of wild card in here, and then we have what I have dubbed a tradition now, which is the one Belgian beer.
Yes,
because we get so many of them in every year. And I thought, well, we need to kind of keep including one Belgian beer. And we have at least probably another 8 years before we get through all of them that we currently have.
I've already tried a couple, like 2-3 of the Belgian beers. Mm-hmm. And the silly reason is they are the most likely to have vintages on Untapped, meaning that it's a new beer. But a lot of the Swedish Christmas beers don't.
Precisely. And... a lot of the Swedish Christmas beers are becoming kind of regulars now. It used to just be the Sofiero and Mariestad and things like that, where you would have your traditional Falcon Christmas beers. But now we're seeing regular annual releases from quite a few breweries. Stigbergets and Brewski and Beckeriet and all these places are releasing these annual beers now. And we reviewed many of them in the past, but so this year the lineup includes Bryghus 19?
Yes.
Delirium Christmas, which surprisingly you haven't had in about 10 years. We have something from a brewery called
Wet Whistle, right?
Wet Whistle, established 2017. I've never heard of them before.
I've had a few beers from Wet Whistle.
Okay, and we have something from Stigbergets and something from Bryghus. So it's quite a range of beers.
And without spoiling anything, the Bryghus beer I actually missed when it was released. They ran out, and I didn't get that one.
Oh, it's too bad.
So seeing it in this lineup is
very exciting.
Bonus treat. Mm-hmm. But we will start with the Bryghus 19.
Right. So I tried to make sure we have one at least kind of more traditionally Christmas beer before we get into kind of the wilder, more modern styles. So traditional Christmas beer is like a Marzen kind of lagery bock style beer that's meant to be kind of easy to drink, a little bready to go with your Christmas dinner of pickled herring and smoked salmon and cheese and meatballs. And usually goes pretty well. But so this is the Julebrygd. It is a bock beer, a light lager, as it says. Comes in at 5.9% ABV. and it will be the lightest of the beers that we have today.
Both color, ABV, and the flavor.
Everything about it. But in fact, it might be the lightest by half. I'm not sure what the next beer is, but I'm pretty sure all of these are going to be like a 8 to 10%. Ooh, 10.
Yep. Yeah, we'll get to them.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
This one smells a little bit like hard bread.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's very, very malty. Very like a little bit of a honey kind of smell to it.
Definitely.
Maybe a little clover in there. It smells really nice. I think this is going to be a really good traditional Christmas table beer.
I think so too. It's very see-through.
Super clean.
It's a beautiful beer.
Yeah. They've done a great job with this. So visually, it is like spot on the mark. Taste-wise, super drinkable. Very light, clean. Nice malty notes in the back of like rye bread.
Yeah. Would you call this cereal? Not really, right?
Not really. No, for me, it doesn't get into that cereal kind of flavor. This is more like the Danish dark bread.
Danish rye bread.
With the Danish rye bread with a little bit of a kind of a syrupy treacle kind of flavor.
Syrup is a good flavor, tasting note for this one. I ask because I've been trying to pinpoint because you like cereal in refreshing pilsners.
Sometimes,
right?
yes.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
And I've just envisioned it as being unsugared cornflakes.
Yeah, sometimes. This tastes like... So, they have bran... You ever bran flakes?
Yeah.
Oh, it tastes kind of like bran flakes. If you're going to go that cereal kind of route. But this is really refreshing. This is really nice.
And a little bit boring. I mean, it's perfect for the general consumer for the Christmas table.
As a traditional style of like what you're having for Christmas dinner, like beers. I mean, this is like for me 100% spot on.
Yeah.
This you're going to want to drink. It's not too heavy ABV. You can drink a couple of them, and you're going to feel okay.
Exactly.
I can't say that about any of the other beers we're going to have today. So I think for me, I'm going to give this. I'm going to give it a 4 because it's so according to style, and I think it's so well done, and it's so easy to drink. It's got a lot of flavor to it.
I never rate according to style, so it's a 3.5, but it's a solid entry.
Well, I'm only saying according to style in the make-believe style of Swedish Christmas table beer.
3.5, sure, it's almost a 3.75.
Yeah. All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
I figured it was the least interesting of all of them, but we've enjoyed everything Bryghus 19 has done so far, so I was like, well, I mean, come on, they're doing a Christmas beer this year, we gotta definitely have that on the table. So, next up is Delirium Christmas, and this is the big honkin' 75 milliliter bottle, 750 milliliter bottle. It's 10% ABV. This is a strong beer. It's triple fermentation, basically your big ceramic bottle that you get from Delirium and all of their bottles with the pink elephant on the front. If you've ever had a Delirium beer, I don't know that they make something lower ABV than 10%. Everything is very, very high ABV for them.
I like that. So the different vintages of this one are either categorized as winter ale or dark ale. Like, okay, sure.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess it could
it's
be
not
that.
Really dark.
No, it's darker than the previous one, but I mean, yeah.
But that could be as easy as, well, that vintage was a dark ale.
Yeah. It's got some good carbonation like you would expect from a Belgian beer. Smells very Belgian yeasty, like what you would expect. The profile is spot on Belgian. I don't know.
Christmas spices a little bit.
Yeah, maybe a little bit, but I don't really know what would differentiate. I haven't had a Delirium in so long that I would be like hard pressed to say, oh, this is what Delirium tastes like and all of their other stuff. They never go into my favorites. I think they're wildly, usually unbalanced with the alcohol heat and nose is usually so overwhelming that it kind of just, you're like, oh, I'm drinking this to get trashed.
It can be
not because I'm enjoying it.
But I have a nostalgic love for Delirium because when I first started drinking craft beers, Delirium was like readily available and a Belgian fun departure from Swedish, let's call it craft within quotation marks.
Yes.
I actually drank a Delirium beer just like the other year when we did a Copenhagen pub crawl championship.
Oh, yeah.
And me and my co-team member came into a bar and there was like nothing new there. So we took
the Delirium.
Yeah, just to get points in the pub crawl champion.
You know, there is a bar in Copenhagen that specializes in Delirium beers. I think it might even be I don't think it's labeled as a Delirium bar, but it does have like 5 Delirium taps.
Is it down in the cellar near Brew Pub, Copenhagen?
Yeah, kind of. That's down the street.
That's the place.
Well,
It's might be called the Mouse and the Elephant or something like that.
It is something like that. Wow, this is pretty good. This is extremely drinkable. Like the booziness that you normally get from the Delirium isn't like so forward.
No.
I think this is one that needs to breathe a little bit, and I'm sure that the more you drink it, the more the alcohol flavor is going to build up. But on a first sip, it's pretty good.
I agree that it's. I agree that the booze is hidden quite well, but the balance between sweetness, yeastiness, and booziness is kind of off. I'm not getting. It's not clicking today.
Yeah, for me, it's pretty flat. Like there's no flavor to it. I mean, it just tastes beer-ish.
Yeah.
Ish. It doesn't even really taste like beer. It's just easy to drink, and it doesn't. I don't really feel Christmas. I don't get any kind of Christmas spices or anything from this, and nothing makes me feel like, yeah, this is something that is particularly Christmassy.
Right. So a 375 from me.
375. You're gonna give this a 375.
Yeah.
Wow. I'll give it a 3. Because it's just such a letdown. There's nothing in this that makes me want to drink it more.
I do think I like straight Belgian beers more than you do.
Probably, but for me, this isn't. I don't know. I like a lot of like the Trappist Belgian styles.
Fair enough.
But this isn't kind of even in that realm. It's not. There's not enough estery kind of flavors to it to make me want to drink more of it.
Ask me again after the lineup.
Okay, all right, we'll come back to it. All right, so next up is our wild card, as I say. It is the Wet Whistle Gingerbread Stout, and this is an imperial stout with so much flavory herbs and stuff in it that I can smell it from here. This comes in at a 8.5.
Oh, that's an imperial.
Maybe 9.5. It's really hard to read. It's black text on a caramel background, so it's kind of hard to get.
We will know soon. 9.5.
9.5. Is there any notes?
Nope, no notes. But they're from Landvetter near Gothenburg.
Okay. But this smells like super gingerbready. Not even holding it to my nose, I can smell the gingerbread notes of.
It's closer to unbaked like dough.
Yes. It almost smells like if somebody created gingerbread potpourri.
Yeah.
It's very perfumey kind of smell.
Perfumey, thank you. I almost said artificial, but perfumey was definitely.
It's more like I said, a potpourri kind of smell. Yeah, it's a stout. It's dark. The carbonation is surprisingly good on this. So,
it's not very good.
Yeah, the spices are really overwhelming. It's kind of like a licoricey flavor almost.
It's very bitter.
It is very bitter, with a lot of what tastes like powdered ginger.
Yeah,
and cinnamon.
It's definitely not sour, but it's approaching sour due to the very harsh bitterness.
Yeah, because it's such an intense amount of flavor components. I don't know not quite how to describe it. In the beer itself, it really just coats the tongue, and you really just almost can't escape it. It's not one that you think like, oh, this will just like I can really savor the essence of the beer. It's like it just kind of grabs you and doesn't let go.
Now in the aftertaste, I'm getting like charcoal in a bad way.
Yeah,
it's
I think the base stout they probably burnt a little. They kind of overcooked the malts, and then threw in just a ton of. I imagine somewhere there you can buy a flavor packet that says gingerbread spice container, and they just throw a whole packet of that in. Whatever that is, like 800 of those are thrown into the kettle to go with the beer.
This is not a favorite. I'll give it a 2. It's not working.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go there with you. It's way too unbalanced and aggressive for me.
Yeah,
that's a tough one.
It gets a 2 because it's hitting some imperial stout qualities, so it's not like a 0.5.
No. I mean, it's
they made a stout.
They did, and it could be drinkable, but it just isn't there.
Yeah, but now we're moving on to something really fun.
I think if I was by myself and I was drinking this, I'd probably get about halfway through, and then be like, I just can't do any more of this. All right, so next up is something from Stigbergets. It's called the Xmas Barley Wine, and apparently it is a barley wine with nothing extra added to it, at least as far as the can says. It just kind of has the basic ingredients and
no comments.
Yep. So this is what is it? Particular style? Is it just barley wine, or is it like American or
American barley wine? According to what was it? 12%.
It is 12%,
but this is where the Christmas release gets really interesting, where breweries dare to make a Christmas barley wine, because 10 years ago the Christmas release was 50 identical beers.
Oh yeah,
from different breweries. Whoa! But they were all
basically the same.
Yeah. And quite pretty boring. For a ticker it was fun because you would always get new ratings, but meh.
Yeah, and Stigberget put out at least 3 Christmas beers because they put out the Xmas Barley Wine, the Julebrygd, and then they have one that they brought back.
Really?
Which I can't remember because we'd already had it previously. So yeah.
It smells kind of barley wine. It doesn't smell as hoppy as I would imagine from an American barley wine.
No, but it has a raisiny kind of
pretty beautiful. Yeah. Dark amber-ish.
Good carbonation on it. Let's go dig in.
Cheers.
Cheers. Yeah. Caramel, light, surprisingly light, not boozy.
No boozy at all.
Again, very drinkable. You said you had this one before, right? You had it earlier.
No, I said I had bought it.
Oh, you had bought it. Oh, okay. I see. Hey,
it is yet to be opened.
All right. Well, now you have something to look forward to, or not. I'm not sure how you feel about it yet.
This is one of those beers that I'm not sad that I have another can. The initial experience is pretty pleasant. It's not reaching for the highest scores. No. But that's not necessarily required.
I think they were trying to create a crowd pleaser here. Yeah. I don't think they were trying to wow you in the flavor components. It's not barrel aged and there's not some odd adjuncts in or anything. This is pretty much an American barley wine, like what you would expect to taste. And it's going to be very middle of the road, I think, which is not a bad thing because again, they're trying Xmas beers should be pretty much a crowd pleaser. Overall,
it's got a little bit of warmth in the aftertaste, which is nice. I mean, it does taste like something.
It does. I'm going to give this one a 3.5.
Yeah, a strong 3.75. It's almost a 4.
It's not so much a 4 for me. Like I said, it's a very I'm not criticizing it at 3.5. It's just it's a workaday kind of barley wine that if people have never had a barley wine before, they might be. It's a good introductory kind of to the style. So I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, and then finally the Bryghus Christmas Mega, which is a Jamaican Rum Barrel-Aged Imperial Vanilla and Black Pepper Stout.
That's exactly what we needed.
It's 15%. It's part of the Mega Stout series. And this one was brand new for this Christmas because they re-released a beer for a previous Christmas beer. I believe it involved saffron.
Oh,
could be wrong.
Yeah, that's an imperial stout.
Yeah.
Have you tried the other mega beers? There are 3.
I want to say I've tried the Mega, that one. I've tried the regular Mega, which came out last year or year before, something like that.
I had it November last year.
Yeah. I definitely had it last year, and I haven't tried
this year
the lemon curd Mega.
That one was wild.
Was it?
I actually gave it 4.25.
Really? It's surprisingly good, well reviewed.
Yeah, that one is a bourbon barrel-aged imperial citrus and vanilla, and the citrus actually gave it a little edge. So this is the third Jamaican rum with black peppers. That's the
vanilla and black pepper stout, which I've never had a black pepper in a stout before. So
it smells so much like vanilla extract.
It's a ton of it. It smells like the vanilla powder sugar that you have here.
Oh, yeah. That nailed it.
So Sweden doesn't have, say, vanilla extract so much. You can buy it, but it's like super expensive, and it comes in these little bitty jars, like it's gold.
Yeah, and it's an American brand,
right?
That's imported.
Yes, but then they also sell stuff that's called vanilla sugar.
Yeah,
which is basically, I don't know, powdered sugar in some ways.
With vanilla flavor.
With vanilla flavor.
100%.
Which also comes in a really small little can. And so whenever I go to the States, I always buy like a liter bottle of vanilla and bring back with me because it's a better deal than the what you get here.
But this one smells like rum.
Yeah, it's got a bit of a rum note. You get a little bit of the black pepper perfuminess in there, and a lot of marshmallowy vanilla flavor.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
The powder from a marshmallow.
Very much so. Initial taste is vanilla, and then perfumey black pepper.
There is some kind of pepper flavor going on. It's a bit of when I say it's a bit of a mess, it goes in a few different directions all at once. Mm-hmm. And I think it's a little bit to its detriment.
I feel the opposite. I think it kind of splinters and then comes together in the end. Because you do get that vanilla marshmallow up front. You get the bit of this perfumey black pepper. And what I mean by that is if you've ever had black pepper in something and it's had time to bloom, like the black peppers had time to go from dried to reconstituted. The black pepper puts off a bit of this fragrant, almost lemony,
I'm not sure,
coriander seed kind of flavor to it. It becomes very perfumey in that way. And this definitely has a strong black pepper flavor to it.
It's the best beer of the lineup.
I have to agree. I think it is the best beer of the lineup. It's definitely the most fun of the lot.
It's interesting that they labeled this one the Christmas Mega, but there's nothing inherently Christmas about it. It's like a combination of the rum and the black peppers and the vanilla that still, kind of tastes like Christmas, but Jamaican rum isn't a Swedish Christmas staple.
Nope. Yeah, there's literally nothing about this that says Christmas other than they wanted to put out a Christmas beer.
But it kind of, the taste kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. I think would be a really good after dinner. You're having your coffee, your dessert, and then you're having this Dugas Christmas Mega with it.
I'll give it a 4.
And a snifter with, to let it kind of breathe a little bit. Because I think this one definitely needs to air out a bit before you start digging into it. I can give it a 4.25.
Ooh.
I really enjoyed the vanilla marshmallow part of it so much. The lingering flavor on the lips is quite nice. Do we want to do one extra one?
A bonus. First, I'm going to revisit Delirium Christmas because our listeners are sitting on pins and needles just waiting for me to re-rate this one.
What do you think?
It's worse now.
Yes, that's typical
So now I'll give it a 3.5.
Yeah, you want to try this one?
Yeah, let's go for it. But I have no glass. I'll
what
fix
we
the
can
glass.
do is we can take this beer and then pour it into that beer, and then we're good to go.
So what Stefan has just brought is some crazy monstrosity. I'm guessing you got that Systembolaget.
Yeah. This came out. So this was one of the Christmas beer releases.
There's nothing. Okay, yeah, go.
Well, it is. Okay, so what was this name? Solna Brewery in Solna has released 2 beers. They come in a 750 milliliter bottle. This one is 15%. I think the other one is 11%. And it's called Gulg. So glögg is a Swedish drink, which is fortified wine. It's a mulled wine, basically.
Mulled wine.
Yeah.
But this one isn't glögg, it's gulg.
Right. So not to be confused with glögg.
And when you showed me the bottle, my brain read glögg, the mulled wine.
That's what they want you to think.
Yeah.
They're tricking you. But this is, it's water, malt, raisins, sugar, apricots, hops, cinnamon, cardamom, yeast, and
say it in Swedish.
Nellior.
What?
What? Nellior?
Nellior?
Yeah.
I have no idea what the word is you're saying.
What's it called? It's
Show
called
me. Neiliko. Oh,
Neiliko.
I don't know that.
It's driving me nuts. It's not like allspice. It's not cloves. It's the other thing that you put in like a bechamel that I can't think of right now. Anyway, so it's
carnations.
What?
Carnations.
No, it's not carnations.
Carnation.
No, you're looking at the wrong word.
Nejlika.
It's not
carnation.
No, it's not carnation. It's
Imagine giving an American an English lesson. Welcome to my life.
It's not.
You're thinking of kryddnejlika, spice nejlika. That's different.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not the same.
Well, that's what this is. It wouldn't be carnations. I wouldn't put flowers in this.
Kryddnejlika is cloves. This is...
No, this isn't cloves.
No,
Well, anyway, we're going to open this up.
Open it.
Now that we're done debating this. It could be cloves, because that is kind of a... Yeah, I guess it could be. I guess it would be cloves. All right. So let's take a little... Oh, that smells like... like glögg right off the top. Okay, so this is a low carbonation is what it's supposed to be, and it can be enjoyed cold or warm, as they say.
It has a screw on top, so you can.
It has, so you can reseal it if you want, and because I don't think this big wine-sized bottle you're going to be like pounding this, because it smells a lot like glögg.
It does smell like the mulled wine.
Yeah, which is what it's supposed to smell like.
These mulled wines are often spiced with something else.
Right.
So there's like there's one base recipe, but there's like a base standard that most adhere to, and then it's very common for them to be spiced with some ingredient, or more often spiced with some liquor. Yeah. Like they'll be sherry spiked or even rum spiked.
I was just thinking, Lindemans does a mulled beer. And they haven't released it in Systembolaget this year or in the past couple of years. It used to come in a green paper wrapping, and that was one that was much better warm than it was cold. It was like an entirely different experience. Like you're like, oh, this is actually pretty good.
It's still called Julebrygd.
Yeah, that's what it is. Let's try this. As it opens up a little bit, you're definitely getting the herbal, spice nature of the wine itself.
But they call this a barley wine. That's only for lack of a better categorization.
Probably.
This is like traditional other. Ugh. Ugh. Ugh.
That is interesting.
That's pretty rough.
I think this might be better a little warm, just slightly heated. I think because it's like if you've had glögg at room temperature or cold, it just doesn't work. But if you heat it slightly, then it becomes quite nice. And I think this would probably be much better heated.
We can microwave it.
Yeah, I don't think I'll give it a rating here. But just know that it's out there. I'm sure there's probably plenty left in the world.
It's a weird one for sure.
Definitely.
Good.
Yeah. All right. Well, this was a lot of fun. I can't wait to start our Christmas calendar next episode.
It's going to be so much fun.
I know, which I believe is tomorrow. So this comes out, and then usually we have a few days in between, or maybe even sometimes a week. But this year, because of the weird ways that the
stupid Gregorian calendar.
Yes, the way the calendar is lining up for this year, it's the next day. So we will talk to you tomorrow, and we will start day one of our Advent calendar. I'm super excited this year. I did a bit of a theme. We'll see if you figure it out. Based on the beers that you pick first.
Yeah, my theme is random madness.
That's also good. Okay, so until next time,
keep drinking it, dum-dum.